it is really, really important both for your personal sanity and also for collectively our energetic ecosystem, for you to do that for yourself, for you to do that for all of us. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to this space where we can deeply exhale and be ourselves, our most sensitive selves, and really tune into what the stars have to tell us about our reality, about where we're at in our journey, and where we're going next. Today, we're going to be talking about yet another full moon, this time the full moon in Sagittarius that is going to be happening on the 11th of June around midnight here in Portugal. I'm so excited for this one, so let's talk about what it's going to bring us. Full moons are one of my favorite times of the month because a full moon means that basically the sun and the moon are aligned in such a way where the sun enlightens the moon and makes it more visible from the point of view of the earth. In mystical terms, psychological terms, that means that the moon, which represents the subconscious mind and our emotional world, is being highlighted or visualized by the ego, represented by the sun. And so this is a really beautiful moment of each month to really see how our emotions have been changing, how our inner landscape has been evolving, and really try to release some of the baggage from the last lunar cycle. This can of course be a little bit tense, and full moons have this reputation of being times of the month where people tend to be a little bit more all over the place, a little bit more emotional, because when we've been living in such a way where we've been a little bit more in the asleep side of reality, where we're not in tune with our emotions, full moons can really highlight that about ourselves and make us feel a little bit uncomfortable. But in general, these are beautiful times to really try to release things that are not serving us. And in this specific case of the full moon in Sagittarius, really point our arrow straight at our goals and where our faith is taking us. So Sagittarius is the sign of the archer. It is a really beautiful zodiac sign that represents faith and having some kind of belief or values in our life. And so this full moon in Sagittarius will be a lot about the themes of faith, of philosophy of life, and things that really support our existence in this material and 3D world. Sagittarius is also ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is one of my favorite planets because it's the planet of growth, of expansion, of good luck. So we may notice that around the full moon, we are getting a little bit more lucky. Maybe we're getting unexpected gifts, unexpected opportunities, or some sort of completion around the task that's been with us for a while, a project, or maybe finally getting a position or a job offer that we've been waiting around for a long time in order to get. So the energy that is really strong for me with this full moon in Sagittarius is the energy of radically accepting your faith, your values, who you are, and actually embodying them and presenting them outwards in the world. And more than that, committing to those values and to that faith. What I mean by that is not being afraid to, when questioned, when challenged, to embody who you are and what you believe in and live in accordance to those values. And finally, to complete the description of the actual astrological positioning of the full moon, this full moon will be happening at 20 degrees Sagittarius. 20 degrees is about the degree that represents transformation. And so what this really tells me about our collective energy in this time is that our radical faith and radical expression of our values and of our true self around this full moon will be really bringing a really huge transformation in our life. What I envision is when our values are being challenged or we're trying to be pushed towards something that doesn't really align with the things that we believe in, and we actually stand in our ground and we resist in a way, that really brings a new sense of self-confidence, a new sense of self and of actual confidence in the world. And so a message that comes really strongly for me is, for example, imagine that you have a belief system or a faith, whether it be religious or non-religious, that is slightly different than the people around you, the people you spend most time with, probably at work, or maybe your family members. Around this full moon in Sagittarius, I envision that you will feel some sort of liberation around this theme, and you will no longer be feeling blocked about showing to the world that you believe in those things. And even when somebody asks you or challenges you or says maybe this isn't real, or you're living in a delusional life because you're doing X, Y, and Z, if that is something that truly creates safety within you, that makes you feel like you're going in the right direction in life, like you're resonating at a higher frequency with all of your day-to-day tasks or people around you because you stand into that faith, what I really see with this full moon is that by sticking to your faith, sticking to your values, you will be able to elevate your life. And not only that, but the capacity to do that will be a lot easier and with a lot less resistance in comparison to other times of the year. And so this is really a huge opportunity in order to step into a really high level of integrity, of confidence, and of forward movement. Even beyond that, this full moon in Sagittarius will be a lot about creating authentic moments in your day to feel safe, to ground in your energy, and to just be in your own energetic field. And this may be different for everyone. What I consider to be regenerating and renovating of my energy may not be the same of what you consider or what your friend, your sister considers to be that. So this is going to be very deeply personal. This also connects with the 20th degree of the full moon, which is this energy of transformation, of something that is deeply personal. And so around this time, you may feel the need to make space in your day to connect with your faith, to connect with maybe your religion, or to actually ground yourself in your body. This may come in as times during the day where you intentionally sit down and meditate or journal about your day, or before your day starts you journal. Maybe you make space in your day to practice an art, or sing, or play an instrument, or learn to play an instrument. This is really strong as well. But basically the energy around this is you will be feeling the need to really connect with your most authentic self, and to create these moments where your soul is really deeply regenerated by your craft, by your practice, and by your ritual. And you know, I feel like it's important to highlight that in moments where we feel very challenged by the world that we live in moments where we feel really unsafe, I know especially for women, it's been very difficult, at least here in Portugal, in terms of safety. There's been some horrific things happening, and I know that equally around the world there is even, I would argue, worse and really bad things happening in the world in general. And it's really difficult to be able to make time in your day for yourself, for your faith, and for your values. So I would like to acknowledge that as well, because in the world that we're in and that we live in at the moment, it can feel like, what even is the point of making myself feel safe when there is people out there that are struggling, that are going through really terrible things, and that may not have this opportunity that I am to do that. But what I really want to emphasize here as well is that it is really, really important, both for your personal sanity and also for collectively our energetic ecosystem, for you to do that for yourself, for you to do that for all of us. I think it's really, really important to, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of destruction and of really horrific things happening, for us to ground our energy and to really allow it to grow and to be propelled out into the world. If our heart space and our energy is centered, then we can do really great things in the world. And if we feel safe and if we feel like we are going towards a bigger purpose, then all of these moments of desperation may still be going on, but we're going to be able to respond better. And we may, in moments of need, be able to help people around us to connect or reconnect back to themselves and help them in dark times. This is really necessary for our collective matrix as a human species, to have individuals who, in the middle of the chaos that other individuals may be experiencing, for those individuals to invest time in being with themselves, in practicing faith and centering, in expanding this light that we're all connected to, but sometimes gets dim in some people, because it will happen that somebody next to you may need your help. Maybe they fall, maybe they have a hard time, and you will be able to extend an arm and help them. So this is really a note that I wanted to add here for all of us. And so this is a really beautiful time for you to speak up, to be yourself, to radically practice your faith in the midst of the crowd, and to not shut yourself down because people are struggling, to instead actually emphasize the fact that you need to take care of yourself and that you need to practice centering. And I am really excited for you because this means that you will be vibrating at a higher frequency with this Sagittarius full moon. And what really comes with higher frequencies in terms of energetic alignment are a lot of beautiful things, such as love coming in. Maybe some of you may be meeting a new person that you may connect with. I envision, like I said before, receiving gifts, receiving a job offer, and some things that are really fantastic. And so I'm really excited for you for this full moon. And so today I will be shuffling my Smith White Tarot deck so we can see finally here to close out our chat what is going on with this full moon in Sagittarius energetically. I will allow the tarot to give us some general guidance and some tips. And I already have a card coming out, which is the Ace of Wands. Very appropriate because the aces in tarot, the wands in tarot are representative of the fire signs, which Sagittarius really is a fire sign. And especially the ace suit appearing here with Sagittarius. I think Sagittarius has this energy of forging things, like going forward, movement in a forward way. And so the aces are really this, the Ace of Wands is really this card of opportunity and of spark of life, which Sagittarius is also embody. Sagittariuses are really interesting signs. I really appreciate Sagittariuses in my own life because they have a really distinct imprint. It's like they are these little bubbles of light and love, and they're really playful in a way. So this full moon may also have that kind of energetic that is really playful, really childlike, really lightweight and honest and true to self, which is all themes that we've been discussing in this chat, and things that are really necessary in this world where things can be so dark and hidden, and truths may be veiled up. People, in power tend to cover up a lot of things. And so honesty and wonder is very much needed in our world right now. And so, okay, this is really interesting. I have some cards for us today. So we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Seven of Swords that came out after, and we also have, we have the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the Temperance here for us today. Okay, so like I said, the Ace of Wands is really that energy around the spark of life, that initial spark of life, that initial idea, that initial nudge that we have to do something. And aces are really the divine extending us a helping hand. And so I think it's really interesting that the ace appears here in our reading today, in our chat for the full moon in Sagittarius, because like I was talking about, the faith and practicing radical faith and practicing being true to our beliefs and to our values, here in this Ace of Wands, I really see the divine hand giving us that spark of life. What I envision is when we first begun our journey here in earth, which is the moment when we were conceived, I believe, tend to have our souls come into this physical world in the moment that we're conceived by our mothers. And so this really, this Ace of Wands really speaks to me on this level. It's almost like going back in the past and seeing when we've been given our life here on earth, acknowledging that the divine gave us a distinct energetic imprint. The divine gave us who we are. Our astrology chart, our birth chart is born because of the divine giving our energetic imprint into the world, if that makes sense. And so the Ace of Wands is really talking to me on that front. And then we have the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords for me is the card of imposter syndrome, of feeling like we're not good enough, like we need to grab everything around us in order to feel safe. And the Seven of Swords is that card of feeling like we need to change ourselves, to modify, to lie, to cover up in order to be accepted into the world and to be accepted by others. Because as we see here in the Seven of Swords, the figure in the card is running away from a place like a village, right? And so after this we have the Temperance. The Temperance is the allowing card, right? The card that just tell us, just be, just flow, just allow life to channel through you, to flow through you, right? And so this reading is really beautiful because we have the initial spark of life, we have our birth into the physical reality, and then once we're around 7 years old, we're told, you know what? You shouldn't be acting the way that you're acting. What you believe in and stand for, and the kindness and empathy that you would like to show others is wrong, because nobody else will show you that kind of empathy. Nobody else will be there for you in such a way. Your preferences, your likes, your values are different. They're strange. They're unlike others. And you know what's interesting is this is true for literally everybody on earth. So there isn't such thing as right values or right belief systems or the right way to be in the world, because we're all challenged on that front. We're all limited by limiting beliefs. We're all placed into these boxes, and people tell us what we should or what we should not be, which is represented here by the Seven of Swords. And then we have the beautiful breath of life once again with the Temperance. The Temperance is this moment of learning, or I would say remembering, right? who we truly are and how to allow the life force to move through us, that initial spark of life that was given to us, and that the universe said, you know what, here it is, this is how you're going to be in the world, and you being authentically, you will change the world. Be yourself. And then we're limited. And in the temperance moment here, we allow ourselves to be how we are. We allow ourselves to have our own preferences and our own beliefs. And we reject all of the societal suppressions and limiting beliefs around how we should be, and telling us that we shouldn't do this or that, and that we shouldn't be weird and that or this way, right? So with the temperance here, we are learning to balance our energetic system, to embody, to ground at times when we have to contract and stay home and maybe retract ourselves from others, and when we can just allow our spark to be seen and expressed into the world. How do we do this? Is by accepting ourselves the way that we are, accepting our values, and allowing ourselves to move into the world with our authentic faith, to express creatively, to connect to other people, to commit to our practices and crafts in such a way that is really true to ourselves, and that represents our belief in the divine, in the universe, in whatever belief that you have, right? And all of this connection, all of this embodiment allows the energy to flow from the divine to us and out into the world, and to create beautiful, beautiful things. So my friends, I want to leave you with this final message here from our tarot reading, is that in order to be able to create beautiful things, and in order to feel comfortable and safe into the world, we need to honor our energetic system. And that is the only way to allow the energy to flow through, the divine to channel through us and help us change the world into a more beautiful one, slowly but surely. Thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you a really happy and lightweight and fun and full of revelations and moments of connection and grounding full moon. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time.